We had some issues with a replenishment pump that was chattering a lot, and the bleach fix one looked like it had been leaking, and so all in these ribs of the bellows there was crusty stuff, and I think what really happened was it just got so crusty it couldn't actually work, and so it was making a horrible sound. So I've taken all three of these apart to clean everything. They're mounted on this tray, which is then mounted into the machine with just these two screws. You loosen it and then the whole thing pops up, and then you can slide this out. You have all the hoses connected and the wires. You can't go very far until you disconnect everything. When you want to take the bellows out, the bellows is open on one end only, and then as it expands and contracts, it forces stuff out. I checked all these. I believe they're all okay. I put my finger over and I squeeze as hard as I can. I can't see anything leaking out. I've seen a crack in one of these before, and that's sort of what I was looking for. If you look at the top, see how it's got a couple of little tabs there? There's also a couple of little tabs on the bottom. When you put it in, you contract it, and in the top you can see where those tabs would fit. In the front and the back there's a little indentation that will take this. So if you compress it and then stick it in there, you can get it into the top part and then rotate this over, and then the bellows comes down into there. And so you need to get the top part stuck in there. Easier to do with two hands. Okay, I think I got it started. And now you can rotate the bellows maybe 90 degrees. And now you can see the tab has gone off to the left side of it, and it's still stuck in at the top. And now I think it's good. So the bellows pump itself, there's a little sort of a hook tab here that's gonna catch that part on the bottom, and then the front has a little tab that slides under. It slides under, and then you can pull it. Again, easy to do with two hands. You just sort of snap it in place, and then to get it out, you just press your thumb on there, and I've already released it, and now it'll slide out. Should slide out. Maybe I need to release it a little bit more. There. Now it'll slide off the back. And I had it in the wrong position. I had stabilizer in there a minute ago. It's really developer bleach fix stabilizer. This is going to mount in the machine like this. And then we just need to return the poppet valves. And looking at the poppet valves, I believe the developer ones don't have a pink dot in the middle. The stabilizer and the bleach do. And then a couple of the poppet valves are what I consider bad, where this, the part that stops the flow is loose, and this sort of rubber bandy part. So on this poppet valve, you can sort of see how the valve part of it isn't snapping back. I can see through it right now, so that means this is not a good poppet valve. So 2 out of the 6 are bad. There's one on either side, and that's what restricts the flow to go one way up into the machine into the tank as it replenishes. So one other thing, when you take this out of the machine, these little shrouds are over the wire and the actual motor that's activating the pump. In order to disconnect the wire, actually, you kind of have to take these off. I'd followed the wires up into the machine, and the wires were just going to go all the way over to the main panel, I think. And it wasn't until I just glanced at this thing and saw that the wire harness was there. So for the poppet valves, they go in the same direction. So the flow is going out the back. So incoming is through this. So on the back side, that one goes in there. They can be quite hard to get out. I usually stick my finger in there and you get a little suction on the part on the back. And then the front one just sticks out like so. And then when you hook up the hoses, they all end up in line. And then the bellows pumps up and out, and then the poppet valves keep it so that it can't go backwards. So I have it all back together. When it comes from the factory, it has these little white lines that I think you're supposed to match up when you screw them on there, but over time they seem to get looser and then you have to tighten it more. One's pretty close to where it is. I have them hand tight, which I think by hand they're pretty tight. Not positive about the white line. Makes me a little unsure about how I have it on there. You can see that one. You can't even see where the white line is on the screwed in part. But hopefully it looks good now. Anytime you do something in here, you're going to want to go do a pump output check. If you changed out a poppet valve that was slowly going bad, it's probably going to pump out. Maybe it'll pump out more because there'll be less backflow coming back out of it. So it's just something you should check to make sure it's working right. I wonder if these hoses are supposed to come out through here. Probably.